That is one of the things we're trying to do here, is get some enjoyment back into farming, right? The only way we're going to appeal to a younger generation or continue to keep our children on the family farm is it has to be fun. And we've done that by allowing them to have some skin in the game. You know, if they're invested in this, not just financially, but emotionally. So now they can come out and they can see their own cow. That cow has a name. You know, it almost becomes a friend to them. They're just checking up on them.
We really enjoy just having our space, being able to raise our kids out here where they can literally roam wild and just enjoy life. They're not cooped up in a backyard and we have to worry about traffic. They're out exploring and playing with the piglets and trying to catch a chicken. And it also, yeah, just teaches them responsibility. They all have chores like washing and collecting eggs, and they help us in the garden.
Gucci? Cool. Hello, I'm Kaycee Robinson. I'm 27 years old and I live in Grande Prairie, Alberta. I'm actually originally from Merritt, BC, so I grew up in a pretty small town and a lot of my friends lived on farms. Myself, however, I was always stuck in town and kind of wishing and dreaming about having that future for myself, and up until this year that wasn't possible, but I'm very grateful to finally be out here. I've got 10 beautiful acres of land, a couple critters already, and yeah, it's definitely been interesting over the last few months getting everything set up. So career-wise, I'm a certified personal trainer as well as a certified nutrition coach. So I do online coaching with clients all over the world. So I actually just recently heard about regenerative farming through my friend Kelsey, and he was actually putting together something with some very bright individual to really kind of go over what it really entails and what it looks like. And I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to, you know, learn a little bit more for myself, see how I can work that into my farm, into my property. So I decided to jump in and join the project. So I'm excited to learn and bring what I learned back here. All right, we just rolled up to Telehuman Farms and I'm so excited. So we're gonna go find Ben Campbell. He's over with the cows right now, getting ready to move them. So let's go. Hello, I'm Kaycee, nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Ben, nice to meet you.
This is beautiful. This actually reminds me of home quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I'm assuming I want to watch out for this.
Yeah, that's electric. That'll get you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you have 300 head of cattle and 1,500 acres. What does that look like for you?
Well, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's pretty fun. We try to do everything in a nature-based approach. So because of that, instead, the nature-based means that we choose a natural method of doing things. We mimic nature versus a man-made method. And the benefit, one of the many benefits of that is that when you don't have to do man-made approaches, there's a lot less work involved.
Yeah, I've noticed there's actually a lot of grass out here.
Yeah, so this is a really bad drought. Like, if you look at the pond here, it's completely dry. We're hauling water with a truck. And this is 4 out of the last 6 years have been bad droughts, but this is by far the worst.
Yeah.
And so even though, despite this being a really bad drought, we've got this, so they're finished grazing in here. I'm gonna take them out. They've been in here for 36 hours.
Okay.
And this is also the second time this year that they were here. So it grew, we grazed it, we left it, and then it regrew, and now we've just grazed it again, and then they're gonna come off of it.
Okay, so how does the drought really affect you?
Well, normally, like they're in here for 36 hours. I've just put them in right now for like that. I would normally split it in half, and I could probably get them in here for twice as long. So most places in this area have about 20% of the grass that they would on a normal year. Because of the way that we graze, we probably have 50% or 40% of the grass we normally would have. It's still not great, but it's a lot better. And the other benefit is, like you can see, there's probably 4 to 6 inch long stems here. Those are gonna regrow next spring really quickly. So if we do get rain, they'll be able to grow and come back. Whereas once they're grazed really low, it takes almost a full year for them to recover.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. How long have you been doing this for?
I bought my first cattle 10 years ago. I bought 4. I had no idea. I'm not from a ranch background, so I didn't know anything. I was an engineer doing construction. My first book was Raising Beef Cattle for Dummies. You know those black and yellow books?
Yes, I know exactly that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was my intro into ranching with 4 animals 10 years ago. And then I learned that rotational grazing, because I didn't inherit a ranch, that I needed to make money to pay the bills. And rotational grazing is a really economically viable way to run a business. So I started doing that right away in order to keep in business. Yeah, the whole thing is about biodiversity. So like this pasture behind us, that's the last pasture we're going to go in this area. And we grazed that for 2 days at the start of June. And now it's been resting and regrowing. Theoretically, it's been an unbelievable drought, so it hasn't grown a lot. But that's been resting since June. So that little piece of land, that's only had cattle on it for 2 days in the last year. And then it's going to have cattle on it for another 1 day, and then they're going to be gone. So that's one of the things that I really think is fun about cattle, is they share an ecosystem. You have all this space, and yeah, there's a lot of cattle here right now, but they're all going to be gone again and not come back for another year. So, you know, they're only going to be here for a total of 3 days, I think, this entire year. So it's for cows 3 days, and then 362 days of the year, it's just for wildlife.
Yeah.
And even when they're here, this is mountain lion habitat, and there's elk in the spring calving on the ridge. There's grizzly bears and foxes and coyotes and red-tailed hawks. It's a great way that cattle can like share an ecosystem. So you're still producing food for people, but you're not in any way taking away from nature. Actually, they've done studies where having cattle increases the biodiversity.
Yeah, no, that makes absolute sense.
My name is Mark Boyce. I am professor of ecology at the University of Alberta in the Department of Biological Sciences. So about 7 years ago, I initiated a research program funded by the Agriculture and Agri-Foods Canada in a new program that they have called Agricultural Greenhouse Gas Program. And the idea was to try to find ways to reduce emissions in agricultural systems, but also to sequester and store carbon in grassland soils in this particular case. And we were evaluating alternative grazing systems to see which ones were most effective at sequestering and storing carbon, as well as influencing other ecological goods and services. So there were a number of surprises, I thought, in our research program, but one of the really interesting results was the fact that we had an increase in water infiltration in the soil in AMP grazed systems, meaning adaptive multi-paddock grazing systems. And we had increased infiltration of water into the soil and increased storage of water, meaning that if you have a drought next year, you have more moisture in the soil to carry over to help you through that drought period. So water infiltration is a really important attribute of a grazing system. In addition, AMP grazing increases avian biodiversity. It increases carbon sequestration and storage. It increases the microbes that actually fix methane into the soil. There are a number of positive outcomes from AMP grazing that really benefit the soil and benefit the ecology of the area.
So just getting ready to have a quick bite here, but I'm kind of just reminiscing on this whole experience. Going over to Ben's, he was just a wealth of knowledge. I feel like I could have asked him any question and he would have known the answer. And, you know, I know it's been really dry there. It's been in a drought. So just seeing, you know, how well they've been able to manage, maintain, and keep the grass green there was just really eye-opening to see, you know, how beneficial it can be to rotationally graze your cows. It really just kind of goes to show what kind of a benefit this can have, and I definitely think it's something that I'm going to be, utilizing at my small scale farm here. So I'm excited to get some electric fencing and get to work.